Hi guys, this is a short video on how to replace the climate control motor, how to repair the climate control motor for free in less than an hour on a Jaguar Type S. The computer is in this box right here. There's only one screw that holds it on and two connectors on the back. Now a little bit of history. The air conditioning works just fine, and I replaced the coolant control bypass control module or whatever on the bottom of the radiator on the passenger side of the car. You can purchase those. I think it was on Rock Auto for like $50. And I put the car on jack stands and accessed it from the bottom, and you got clear access from the bottom. It's almost impossible to get it from the top, and it's located right here at the very bottom. But anyways, even after that was replaced, I still had hot water flowing to the heater core right there. You can put your hands there, and I still felt hot water running through there. So we pulled out the climate control module here, and we repaired the burnt tracings. When that coolant bypass burns up, it usually takes the computer with it, and this computer is about $500, I believe. I think you can buy them on eBay rebuilt for like $100, but you can take it out in less than an hour if you know how to use a soldering gun and fix it and have your air conditioning back. Good afternoon, guys. The Jaguar is blowing hot air. The air conditioning's working, but it's blowing hot air. So we're going to take the dash apart. I think we have a stuck door and a messed up actuator. But to confirm that the air conditioning is working, with it running, you want to look down there at the very bottom, compressor, and make sure, I know you can't see right here, but it's right down here. You can visualize it, and make sure that the compressor clutch is engaged and turning. You can usually hear one when they clutch in and clutch out. So you want to make sure that it's running when you start it up. Then you want to grab this line. This line should get so hot that you can't hold your hand on it if it's cooling properly. This is your high side fitting. The low side fitting can be accessed by turning the wheel all the way to the left, and it's actually right down there is where the low side's at. I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's there. If you turn the wheel all the way to the right, that's how you access the low side. Craziest thing I ever seen. But your high side's right here. You should put your hand here, and this should be hot. And then this here is your suction line, and you can put your hand right here, and it should be cold and wet if your air conditioning is working. Okay, and I had a video about the coolant bypass lines that are straight down there that can also pump hot air into it. But I believe it's our actuator. So to replace this actuator, we have an air filter down here, but we're going to take this out, take the glove box and everything out. And to do that, you're going to need some of these upholstery tools and a T27 bit. So the first screws we're going to take out is here, here, and then inside of here, here, and here, and we can pull the glove box out. I don't know if we're going to take the air filter out or not. But also, if your compressor is not working, you might want to check this fuse. This is the fuse for the air conditioning system. There's a whole lot of stuff. The compressor, the blower, the coolant bypass, they all run off this one fuse right here. The very first 10 amp fuse. Just take a test light, ground it here. Don't ground it here, it won't ground to there. But you can ground it here and touch either side here. Those little silver contacts are your test points, and make sure that you've got voltage on both sides, and you can pull the fuse and visually look at it, but all you gotta do is put a test light there and there, and you know it's good. So here is your compressor right there, and you want to make sure that it's turning. It's on the very bottom. I don't know if you can see it or not, but you should make sure you see those bolts turning, that the compressor's turning. And to pull these right here, all you need to do is pull that tab out with one of those. Just pull that tab out, and that's what connects that to your air filter. And it must have charcoal in it too, doesn't it? I couldn't figure out where to unhook that at. So anyways, when you pull your glove box out, disconnect it right here for your valet switch. Just grab a hold of it, disconnect that, and you can pull your whole glove box. So it'll work better if you take your top screws off before you take the bottom ones off. But once you take those out, you now can access everything. Looks like the computer's right there. So right there's the door I'm after. So you want to start the engine up. Now look at this door right here. Your heater core is right there. You might want to fill your lines. And we do have hot water going through all three, which we shouldn't. That door's working. See that? And that is this button here. That's your recirculation. Alright, this moved. That's good. That is it's out the dash. That's out the floor. That's good. Here's where we're at. All my actuators there and there are working, but even though I've replaced the dual coolant valve up front, I'm still getting hot water, hot coolant in these three lines. One's a return, one's for left side, one's for the right side. And they're hot enough to burn your hands with the air conditioning on. And that should not be the case, even though the compressor's working. So our next step is to check the climate control computer. Now we have a navigation system, so it's contained in a box right here. I just took it out. Only one screw right there holds it in, and Velcro. Two little tabs, and there's our connection. So here is our climate control computer. To take it apart, it's misleading at first because you see these tabs, but the tabs really don't do anything. There are 4 screws that hold it together, and they are a T7 torque, but a T6 will also work. So do yourself a favor and use torques. If you don't have these, you can go buy them at Tractor Supply. So anyways, there's 2 connectors. They're different sizes, so you can't get them confused. So we flip the box over, and at first I see nothing. I see no damage whatsoever. Everything looks good. I had an old friend who used to repair car stereos, and he did it all visually. He would find a pop cap or a burn resistor, and he'd replace it, and he'd fix 90% of them that way, just visually. So front side looks good. So we're going to flip her over. And at first glance, everything looks pretty good, but there's our problem. We have a burnt tracing. Isn't that just great? Can you see it there? It's right there. So, looks like we're going to have to get the soldering iron out. Or we can buy a new one. I think they're only like $500. Well, guys, I don't know if I recorded that or not, but I got bad news. I found another one. I don't know if this is showing up or not on the camera, but look at this tracing right there. Okay, guys, here's what I'm going to attempt to solder. Is that right there to fix that broken tracing. And then we're going to flip it over. And on the back side, we're going to attempt to solder it just like that. You can't have it sticking up very high on the back side because of the box that it was in. Okay, the most important thing when you solder these boards, the trace back, you need to be using a 15-watt soldering iron. I wouldn't use anything any stronger than that, but you want one with a needle tip. I used, what is that? It's Ethernet cable. I used solid core, was it Cat 5? Use it for phone line too. But anyways, made my wires look like that. Stripped them out. You want to get your good wire stripper so you can strip it out. I mean, just your basic tools. And I just used real small solder in there, but just solid core wire. But you don't want a big soldering iron. You want one that's not real hot, just where you're going to have that pinpoint. And worked great. You do want to make sure, I did have to use this sponge a couple times. You do want to use a sponge and not a wet rag or a wet paper towel. You want to use a sponge to clean your soldering iron tip if you need to, if it's dirty at all.